I had my first experience with the NieR franchise when I played NieR Automata back in 2017. At first I was a pretty casual fan. I played up the ending A, took a break until 2018 or something, and then I played all of the other endings until I reached that finale. And as I was sitting there bawling my eyes out to the credits, I could feel my brain chemistry change, as this world had so utterly captivated me. But I also needed a break from the series in order to emotionally recover. A few years later, I then of course played the remaster of the original NieR through NieR Replicant, and at that point, having played two of the best games ever made, I just decided to fully throw myself into the rabbit hole. Since then, I played NieR Reincarnation, the mobile gacha game that actually had so much story importance that it's basically NieR 3. I went to the concert, which also had story relevance, I read some of the novels, I read some of the manga, I went back to play the prequel series with Drakengard 1 and 3 specifically. I'll play 2 eventually, but all of this just to say that I basically sold my soul to Yoko Taro, the creator of this wonderful franchise. But the series has been in a bit of a strange position lately. The last mainline entry was a mobile gacha game that has ended service and is not accessible at all outside of YouTube playthroughs, and NieR Automata recently had an anime adaptation that only left us with more cryptic hints. That's not even to mention the anniversary from a few weeks ago, which came with some new artwork and a short novel. NieR is also an IP owned by Square Enix, which is undergoing a lot of changes, and while Yoko Taro has been teasing a lot of things, we haven't really seen anything. So I had a lot of thoughts on where this series could possibly go next, and instead of just rambling to myself like a madman, I thought I'd hit up my friend Teol, someone who's also sold his soul to Yoko Taro and someone who's very active in the NieR community. And in this video, we're gonna discuss our thoughts on the future of this franchise. Where is the series going next? Will we ever see Reincarnation again? When will the next game be announced or even released? We talk about a lot of stuff and it was honestly a great discussion. Spoiler warning for every NieR game obviously, but let's get this intro out of the way. I just wanted to provide some context as I haven't really talked about the series that much on my channel, but with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this discussion. Definitely feel free to join the discussion in the comment section below, leave a like or subscribe as it really helps me out. Check out Teol stuff as well, it's all in the description, but now let's talk about NieR. So as I said in the little intro thingy, I'm joined today by Teol. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
If you want to introduce yourself a bit so that people
of course.
know who you are.
I'm Teol, Reincarnation on Twitter. I'm known for yelling about NieR Reincarnation quite a lot on Twitter. But I also am slowly getting into content creation, maybe soon, and also studying game production. So yeah, I'm really passionate about NieR. So always love to yap about it.
Yes, exactly. And that's why I got you here today, because I've been wanting to talk about the future of NieR in general for a while now, like ever since Reincarnation ended and the anime happened and stuff. I've been thinking about how can I make a fun video where I can just talk about NieR, and then every single time I open my phone I see a tweet of you screaming about something NieR related, so I was like, why don't I get you involved, especially since you're also streaming now and stuff. So
yeah, I'm really excited for the conversation.
Yes.
I have a lot to say.
Good. Yeah, you told me that you have your notes ready, so I'm excited to hear what you have to say. To start off, I thought it would be a good point to start with NieR Reincarnation, as that is, of course, the latest entry that we have. And I think because some people are still a bit divided on NieR Reincarnation, like some people are still out there saying that it's not a mainline title, so I thought, why don't
bullshit.
Exactly. So I thought we can just start off with that, so we're all on the same page.
Yeah,
before we move on. So
well, yeah.
It is NieR 3. That's what we can agree on already.
Of course. I mean, the main difference between Reincarnation and the other games is of course the format and the gameplay. But the series is well known for mixing up genres
Yeah,
quite a
trying new
lot. So,
things.
of course, in my book and of course in Yoko Taro's book as well, this is NieR Re and a very, very important entry in the series, which is why it's a shame it's not playable anymore. But yeah, it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, that's immediately the thing that I also had written down. The fact that it's not playable anymore. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
it is true, like, story-wise, it is exactly the next mainline entry. Like, there's so much from the story, from the Moon server, and just everything that is so incredibly
Yeah.
important to the
So
story.
many details, even in the like not only in the main story because that was already pretty huge, but also in side content.
Yes, the side
Like
content's actually something that I didn't get too deep into, so...
yeah, well, actually, I only know what I played, and I did not play all of it. So there are some things I still have yet to read, actually. So even I, who keeps yelling about NieR Reincarnation on Twitter, don't know the whole story. That's how big it is.
It is
Yeah.
massive, that is true. Like, there's so much content in that game, and now that Accord's library is gone as well, it's like
Yeah,
making it even
that
harder
really
to
sucks.
access it.
Yeah, indeed.
Because I don't know how you got into NieR Reincarnation if you were there at launch, but when
I
it...
was actually. Actually, let me pull up the calendar just to be sure I'm not wrong. But I did play it at launch. I remember that. But was it my first NieR game? I don't remember. No. Okay. So it came out in 2021, right? In the summer.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I finished NieR Automata in February of that year, and then I played
Oh,
Replicants, and then right after Reincarnation came out.
you were like perfect with your timing.
Exactly, exactly.
Was that
I was
something that you
pretty.
planned? Was it just a
Um,
coincidence?
no, I did not play it just for Reincarnation. No, I got into NieR Automata because it was a birthday present, and then I just continued with the remaster that came out actually the same year, right? I think. Yeah,
Uh, yes, I think it's
yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
So yeah, just pure hazard, I guess. So
Yeah.
yeah, but I was really excited for NieR Reincarnation anyway, even though it was a mobile game. I've never really hated mobile games. I used to play Mobius Final Fantasy as well, until it
Oh,
shut
okay.
down. And of course Kingdom Hearts Union Cross as well. So
Oh, you were also
I
part of
am pretty
that.
used to uh, playing mobile games for the lore and having to witness a death.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sadly, that's always part of it.
Yeah,
Mm,
I think that's why I took the shutdown so well. I mean, I did not
yeah.
take it really well, but you know, just yeah, it is what it is, as I said earlier.
Yeah, it is what it is. That's about all we could say about that, I feel like. And at
Yeah,
first, I was kind of... I wasn't that used to playing many mobile games, so I do feel the part of the community that is kind of against reincarnation in some ways,
yeah,
because at
yeah,
first when I heard about it, I was also like, why are we doing this like mobile spin-off thing? Because like but yeah, it's all a spin-off now, but at first it
yeah,
really
yeah,
did feel like that. My girlfriend got really into it, and I wasn't playing it, but she would constantly have it like auto battling on her phone, and I was like, bro, what are we doing? I'm just gonna
yeah.
wait
I get
for the
that.
next big game. But then over time, the more that I heard about it, there would be like the places where you go to like Kaine's hut and stuff in
Yeah.
Sun and Moon chapter, and that was when I was like, oh fuck, I'm actually gonna have to like play this now, I think.
So you played everything around the end then,
Yeah,
around the
I
end of
got
Service
into it
Menu.
really late. It was
Okay.
one of the anniversaries that they gave away so many free gems
Yeah,
and free
yeah,
characters that I was like, okay, I'll just get into it now. And
yeah.
then
I
I
was about to
never
say.
had to worry about the live service stuff.
Yeah, I was about to say you were pretty lucky when it comes to timing, because at that moment the game was so easy. Like it was really easy to just finish the game, the whole story. I think they made it way more accessible the more time passed, so that everyone could actually witness the whole story.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning, I remember being stuck quite a few times because I was playing for free, because you know Belgium. You cannot really spend money on the game. At least me with an iPhone. I don't know how it is on Android, if it's possible to go around that law,
No, the
but
store
yeah.
was locked and stuff, so...
Yeah. So yeah, I had to play the game entirely free to play, and it was kind of hard at the beginning, but the more time passed, the more accessible the game was. So I managed to do everything in the main story and even some hard content. So yeah, I was pretty satisfied with. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I got lucky, because I got into it at the anniversary, so I just was able to get some very strong characters as soon as I started, and I never really had to grind or like do any of the events to get currency, to get characters. I was able to just comfortably beat the story. I think for the last chapter I did have to wait a little bit before it was released, but at that point it's also... Like, that's the positive side of having these live service games, just that community feeling of you're no longer waiting years for the next game. There's just an update a few months away, and then every time the whole community comes together and talks about it. That's such an exciting part of it. And to then see the crazy finale of Reincarnation and like how it connects to everything else, like that was a really fun time to like be caught up.
I was actually expecting something like this for the end of Reincarnation because of how Automata was. Because around the end, everything just clicks. And I was really expecting that at the end of... like, even when I was playing Reincarnation and at the beginning, it felt like nothing related to the previous games. So I just knew I just had to trust Yoko Taro, and it would all click in the end.
That's just the thing with this franchise in general. Like, I'm sure that we'll talk more about that later, but when you start a NieR game, you're always just like, okay, what is going on here? How does this even connect to anything else in this series? Especially when we go back and look at like the Drakengard games that even connect in the end. But at first you always have like no idea what's even going on, and then to see it connect is always such a like magical moment. So it was really nice to be there with the Reincarnation. But because it's so connected now, the question is, if we continue the franchise, which we obviously will, like, it's not really a question of will NieR continue, it's more of like when, at least in my opinion. Like, Yoko Taro will make another NieR game.
But whether he likes it or not.
I think he likes it. He'll make money from it, especially after Automata, so...
Yeah, probably. But what I meant is like Square Enix is definitely forcing him to.
Oh yeah,
whatever happens.
They'll force him to make
where
another
is
game. Yeah, no, don't worry about it. I was just saying that like we will get another game at some point, but Reincarnation is so vital to everything going on in the franchise. So can we even move on to the next thing without having Reincarnation available? That's like a really big thing, because this video, like this discussion that we're gonna have, is about what's next for NieR, as in like what do we think the next game could be about, like what can the topic of it be, like how can it tie into the rest of the series, when will it release, and all of that stuff. But before we get to that, will we see Reincarnation again? Will it get a port? Will it get like, I don't know, will it get adapted into something? Like,
well, the way I see it personally, I really feel like the game was made to be ephemeral. It was made to die.
Yes,
I do believe. I do believe they made the game with the intent of just it disappearing and never coming back. So it's kind of weird, because I do want to say there's no way it's coming back, but at the same time, game preservation, it really depends on... I feel it depends on Square Enix, not Yoko Taro. Because I do think Yoko Taro would just keep it dead.
Yeah, I think so.
Use there is a book, of course, that only came out in Japan, that just recaps the whole story. We don't have that in English yet, so I really hope it's coming soon. But I really feel like the intent is to keep the book as the only
Yeah,
a NieR
like
Reincarnation
the
available.
archive of Reincarnation. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah, because I mean the series is pretty well known for having lore in everything, which whether it's anime,
Yeah,
books,
yeah,
stage
definitely.
plays. So
It's
yeah,
also part of like the artistic intent behind it because it very much is like you're
also
saying, NieR
yeah,
Reincarnation wasn't meant to die. Like it ties into a story in the way with the cage disappearing and like
yeah,
NieR Reincarnation really does feel like it was this part of history that's meant to be
exactly,
inaccessible
yeah,
in a way, but at the same time it's like you have the artistic intent and you have that entire part of it, which is very important. But then there is
yeah,
also the part of this is a piece of media. This is a story that's being told across different games, across different media. So, like, can you really keep a vital part of it inaccessible? Because, like, yeah, you have lore in the concert. Like, I went to the latest concert, which was
yeah.
beautiful, and it
It
had a
was,
little
it really was.
story about 2B and 9S taking place after the game. But that story doesn't really feel vital in a way, and even if it was, if those story details would come up again in later games, I feel like you can easily put that in somewhere in a
Yeah,
cutscene or a like loading screening or a weapon story or whatever.
actually,
Like
you're right. Yeah, yeah,
you can put some like a small concert story, you can have that come back, but something like an entire game, you can't really recap that in a quick way.
yeah. You're right. You're absolutely right. So that's why I would say in an ideal world, we would get the game back as a port, as a remaster,
Mm-hmm.
anything. But yeah, I mean, I say that because, of course, I even though I said that's how the artistic vision was for the game, I do believe in game preservation. I really do believe we need to do something about like games shutting down and not
Yes,
being accessible
definitely.
anymore. So it's really important for even outside of the story, like even if it was not crucial for the lore, I would say keep the game alive. Like it's really important. I
Yeah,
mean, so
that's
yeah, that's
true.
why I'm really conflicted. It's just there is the artistic intent which I'm really satisfied by somehow. It's just the game really felt good at the end, even in its death. So that's why I do believe in the artistic intent, but still, I do believe it's really
Yeah,
important to make it available to the fans.
exactly. It's very
So yeah,
like there are two sides to it, and I don't know which one would come out on top in the end because especially like
yeah,
we don't have an example of this somewhere else. Because like Kingdom Hearts, I think is the closest one, I guess, because we have Union Cross, which was important for Kingdom Hearts
yeah,
3. But then like they had that movie which only covered part of it, and like
yeah,
in
yeah.
that way you
Actually,
can't really compare that to, but like would
I'm
they
not
do
even
something
sure, but
similar
were the cutscenes of the movie included in the mobile game, or was it like new story? I don't
I
remember.
think I think it adapted some scenes from the game and like
Okay,
reanimated them in like the normal
okay,
Kingdom Hearts cutscene and thing.
yeah, okay.
But
I'm not
I'm
sure
not
anymore.
sure because
It's been
like
years, so
yeah.
yeah. But yeah, like yeah, I mean, Kingdom Hearts felt like it. How do you say that? It cared more about important lore needs to be preserved, so they
Yeah.
they did that with the movie, and they also kept the mobile app available to watch the cutscenes.
Oh true, that like a theater mode after
Yeah,
shutting down.
which I wish we could have in NieR Reincarnation, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really hard to say. It also depends, I guess, on how much do they care about the Western audience in that way, because Japan has that book that just adapts all
Yeah,
of Reincarnation. So maybe they're like hopefully they'll translate it at some point. The other
yeah,
novels got
hopefully.
translated, so I'm assuming that they will do it at some point, but
They did, but pretty late. I remember people on Twitter telling me it was like Grimoire Nier, so for NieR Replicants,
mhm.
was translated, I think, 2 years later. after
Yeah.
release in Japan. So yeah, like
Yeah, it's gonna be weird and like interesting to see
yeah,
what they do with it. But I hope they do something before like the eventual NieR
the
4
next game indeed.
happens. But now that we mentioned like the next NieR game,
Yes.
what is like your main theory right now to
Ha.
move on from Reincarnation? I've seen you tweet about a lot of things. I've seen you tweet
Indeed.
about a
I
game
am.
about Yuzuki
Yeah.
and Hina fighting legions, which is like a reincarnation thing. I've seen you tweet about the Kingdom of the Night. Like,
Yeah.
where's your head at right now?
I am all over the place. It's actually insane. I am completely lost. But I did think more about that ever since I tweeted that thread. Also, more stuff happened. There was a novella, which I actually
True.
didn't read yet. I
You
actually
didn't
didn't read
read
it.
it yet?
No, because I hate reading. I know. I know that's kind of weird for a NieR fan. But
it's so
I
short.
it is, I know. It's just also I'm really busy with university and I just don't
Yeah,
really think
yeah.
about reading it. But one time, just in the train, I'll take the time to fully read it. But yeah, I did hear that. Well, spoilers maybe for the novella if I remember correctly. But I think I did hear that it was just a new branch. For a NieR replicant or something.
I don't.
Didn't.
Okay, I did read it, but
Okay.
I'm
Oh,
not sure
okay.
about how people have been interpreting it.
Okay.
From what I read of it, I thought that it would take place. I mean, like, I don't know how much you want me to say because you didn't read it yourself yet.
Honestly,
But
go on. Like, I don't mind spoilers. I'll just read
okay,
it fully by myself, but it's fine if I get
okay.
spoilers.
So I read like the Google automatic translation, so I don't even know how accurate this is.
Okay,
But
yeah.
from what I gathered from it was that it is NieR from NieR Replicant
So the
going
character, you mean?
yes, the character
Yeah, okay,
NieR
okay.
going through his version of the cage, kind of, because he was
Okay.
like reliving, he was like viewing the memories or reliving the memories of like Pascal, and he viewed the memories of Theo and the girl
Yeah.
walking on Earth.
Actually,
And
that's the only part I read, the Theo part.
yes, that was like
The
one
rest
of
I didn't read
the
yet.
yeah, and it's like about that, but I'm not sure like where exactly this would take place in the timeline. I thought it took place like during ending E of Replicant, because that's where he gets brought back, and it felt like the story, like the short novel, was about him finding himself again, because it starts off with him not remembering anything, and like
Okay.
as you go through the chapters he like starts remembering who he is and why he's there. So I thought that that was taking place while Kaine is like breaking into the server to bring him back.
Okay.
But I'm not sure what that is or what that could hint at. The only thing that made me think about it was the short story about Theo,
Yeah.
because she is trying to find a way to go to like reunite
Right, I
with
forgot about that.
Lavania. Yes, that's
Yeah.
like the big thing that stuck with me from reading it. That's
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
what is gonna happen there? Like, because
No,
that
but yeah,
novel
that's the
then
thing.
takes place after Reincarnation. So
Yeah, that's the thing. It's just like between every games in the series, I feel like they really hint at what they're gonna do next in the novellas mainly. So I've been trying to hunt for any single hint I could. Well, okay, ignore the fact I didn't read the novella yet, but uh, it's in my plans. But yeah, so this was definitely parts of the hints, quote unquote, I was thinking about. So I was actually thinking that this specifically would hint at some return for Reincarnation, maybe a remaster, alternate story,
yeah,
something, maybe.
yeah. It also really felt to me like, oh, Reincarnation is like coming
Yeah.
back somehow, because it really. I think there was even a line of something in the novel that was like, oh, will they reunite one day, or like,
Yeah,
how will
yeah.
they reunite one day? And it's like they're not gonna put that line in if they're not planning on making them reunite somehow.
Yeah, that's
So,
true. Yeah.
because that's
Uh,
like the thing, like you were saying, that the games do hint at what's coming next. Like we said earlier, that if you play the NieR games, at first it always feels like, oh, this is so like disconnected and like what's even going on here. And I think
yeah.
that if you're a casual player of the games, you're also just like, oh, this is like so random that we went from replicants to automata, like what is even the connection? But if you're like looking deeper into the games, into the side stories, you do see like, oh, Replicant is of course with like End of Humanity, the Gestalt project. Then the androids
Yeah.
are there with Popola and Devola, and then that comes back in Automata, and that's expanded upon with the androids and everything. So
Yeah, yeah.
now Reincarnation does set up two, I guess,
Multiple
two main
things.
things.
I would say even more, to be honest.
Possibly.
What are the ones you were thinking about?
The ones that are sticking out to me, maybe that's just because that's what I want to see, so my brain is like, no, this is the
Yeah.
main one. It's really hinting a lot at something with Accord
Yeah.
and Kingdom of the Night, like that entire thing.
Indeed.
And the other thing would be either just like reuniting Theo and Lavania, and maybe that is them traveling the world more, like Theo
So
traveling
straight up
around Earth to like,
Reincarnation 2 then.
yeah, in a way, but it's like, would they do a reincarnation too?
Well,
Like,
I think if they wouldn't do an Automata 2, I really doubt they would do
yeah, exactly.
that.
Well, I mean, they won't
So,
call it reincarnation too, obviously, but
yeah, of
story
course, of
wise, they
course.
can continue those threads.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. The way I see all the hints for Reincarnation, in my opinion, the way I see it is just the game coming back with additional story, but I don't think we're getting a full-on sequel with Theo as the main character. Yeah, that's the way I see it. So I do believe these hints for Reincarnation are something to pay attention to. But not for the next game, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
it can
so
definitely be something like a reincarnation version 1 point whatever that has
yeah,
some
yeah,
extra story bits that then fully sets up the next game, or like,
yeah, yeah, uh, yeah.
I don't know what your thoughts were, because you were like, oh, there are only two things.
Yeah,
Like,
well, honestly, the biggest one, in my opinion, would be Accord, as you said. I feel like we got way too many hints towards Accord in Reincarnation, in the Automata anime, and also
yes, that as well.
SINOALICE as well. There were just so many hints about Accord and so many questions that popped about Group B. I think that's how they were called. Like, there is a mysterious enemy called Group B who is an enemy of Accord, and we don't know anything about that.
Wait, when is this mentioned? Is this in the reincarnation?
No, it's not in Reincarnation, actually. It's only in SINOALICE.
Oh, okay. I don't know anything about SINOALICE. The
Well,
only thing
okay.
that I know about it is that that library shows up in reincarnation.
So
But
for SINOALICE, it had a crossover event with Drakengard 3, which was translated recently by the I Am Kaim YouTube channel. I can send you the link later.
oh yes, do that.
Uh,
I'll also put it in the
and
description and stuff.
yeah, nice. Well, that event mentions some entity which is called Group B, and would apparently I might be wrong because my memory is not. There is so much lore about NieR.
Yeah,
I
don't
cannot
worry
be correct
about
about everything, of course.
it.
But they apparently they're teasing a new enemy, like a very weird and mysterious
Okay.
entity, which is just, yeah, I don't know. So
And
they
if it's
were
an enemy
mentioned
of a
in that.
cohort, that's like
Sorry,
very
what?
big. So if it's an enemy of a cohort, then that has to be something very big and
Yeah,
mysterious,
right.
because everything about the Accord is already so...
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, that's why I think it's the main thing, and that's what I really hope to see in the next year. Yeah. And they were also mentioned in the anime, not explicitly, but I don't know if you knew, but you know, like the little breaks between, like at the half of episodes, right?
Yeah.
They were
Oh, the
hiding hex
text that
codes.
flashed
Yeah.
up? Yes. I
Well,
remember every
that
time an
text.
episode came out, like going to Twitter to see what people were
Yeah,
saying
yeah,
about
same,
it.
same. Well, that text is reports from Accord, and they do mention Group B as well in this. So that's the thing. It keeps being hinted at. I really feel like it's gonna be the next big thing. It's too many hints for them to just not do anything with it.
Yeah. Oh, I really hope so. That would be very...
Yeah. Because I remember when I was talking about what NieR 4 would be about on Twitter, I was also mentioning a Legion game. So yeah, as you said earlier, like Hina and Yuzuki fighting Legion.
Yeah.
But this is such a different thing compared to the Group B hints, because I feel like we know a lot about the Legion era already. Compared to Accord, the Kingdom of Night, and Group B and everything about this is like the real mystery. Like, this is the thing I feel
it's like the next step. Like, it feels like the Legion stuff is more like filling in a chapter that we could explore even more, and like...
Yeah.
I guess if you look at it in a certain way, it's kind of like, oh, that's like the spin-off material, kind of like we know that era, we can always flesh it out a bit, and that's there. While the Accord stuff does really feel like, oh, this is like a next step. Will it be the next step after this one? I don't know, but like this is where we're like moving towards at some point, at least. I always used to think, like, I played Drakengard 3 very recently.
Yeah.
So before I played Drakengard 3 and people were talking about Accord, I was always thinking like, oh, would they really bring that into the forefront? Because Accord always felt like something that was like just slight hints, mysterious. Like in the way that's the replicant loading screens and like just like every now and then you would just see the small thing about Accord, and I always didn't think too much of it. I was like, oh, this is just like the super deep lore. There's no way that it's ever gonna come like that much into the forefront. But then I played Drakengard 3, and that game is very like straightforward. It's not straightforward, but like it's very out there with its lore. Yeah, it's very much like
she's right there as a character, like a main character even. So
yeah, exactly, and like she's so deeply connected to how that game is structured with the branches and everything. So it's like they've done it before. So ever since playing that, I'm like, yeah, they aren't gonna have to do a game like that at some point. That's just very straightforward. Like, look, here's Accord. She's a very important character, and this is the story that we're telling. But I also have a really hard time picturing that, because a lot of that sounds kind of too good to be true. In a way that's like, it's been building up for so long, and with so many little things, it's like, it would be fucking mental.
At the same time, I feel like this is kind of what happened with NieR Automata, because the alien invasion was hinted at in, I don't remember if it was novellas or the audio dramas, but it was hinted at. Like, there was a full-on story about Emil fighting aliens.
Oh, okay.
There was the stage plays, of course. So I feel like there were so many things that were hinting at something that would be like Yorha related, and it just happened. So honestly, I feel like saying, why not a second time with Accord?
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. If it happened before, then that does make it more likely. Like, I was never part of the build-up to a NieR game, so I'm, like, very new to this.
Yeah, actually, me neither. I just looked it up.
Yeah, you went back. I didn't really do that too much. Oh, that's really interesting. I also do wonder how, like, because now that we mentioned them, if Emil could play into it somehow again, because he has also been, like, a very recurring character. Like, if you look at the NieR franchise in general, it does look like Emil is always at the front in some way. And with Yoko Taro also saying something recently, I think, about like, oh, Emil still holds like the answer to something, like a very big mystery in this universe.
I did also see the tweet, but I think it was just someone pulling up an old interview.
Yeah, I also thought really I saw it earlier. That's why I was like hesitant to say recently, but
no, I think it's actually pretty old information, but it was pulled again recently. But yeah, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah,
I would love to see Emil again because I really love him. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Same. He's also like one of my all-time favorite characters. I would love to see him again.
Yeah, really, really important character actually.
Mm-hmm. No, go ahead.
I was actually thinking about the possibility of NieR Automata 2 as well.
Oh, that's exactly what I was gonna bring up.
Yeah,
we're on the same page here.
Well, what do you think actually? Possible, not possible?
Very possible, because it's Square Enix, and Square Enix likes money.
I was about to say the same.
It's also like, I feel like it would just make a lot of sense, because NieR Automata is the thing that broke out the series really into the mainstream. Like, this is weird. Like, the way that I got into NieR is literally because a guy from my class who has never touched a JRPG in his life, who only plays like Rainbow Six Siege games like that, I found out about NieR because he brought it up to me, and that's what was, and then getting into NieR, like playing Automata, he played like a few hours of it and then dropped out of it. But then I played Automata, I found out about Replicant, played like Reincarnation and stuff, and now it's really like, that is all because of Automata. Like, I've never heard of this series before, and it was really Automata that really brought it out into the forefront. And like, it's like that for me, but I'm sure that it's like that for like 90% of NieR players. Like,
yeah, that's true. Actually, I think for me it was someone told me about Drakengard 3 first, but it was not someone from real life. It was someone from Twitter. But I was not really interested. And then just like I heard about NieR later, and then I was interested. So yeah. Almost the same. Yeah.
So like, Automata is really just what blew up this franchise. So it's like, it would be strange to not want to follow that up, but at the same time, because of the way that NieR is, I also don't really want a sequel in the traditional sense.
About that, I like to think about Life is Strange. I don't know if you're familiar with the series. It's Square Enix.
I played some of them. I mean, actually, I played all of them besides for the last one. So
yeah, well, I was about to talk about the last one, because thing is, I feel like the series is really the same structure as NieR. I mean, it's just an anthology. It used to be an anthology, at least.
Yeah.
So every game, new cast, with hints about like how it related to the previous games, and just that's it. And then they saw the series dip financially, and they decided to bring back the main character from the first game in a sequel, which ended up just making everyone mad for one reason or the other, because there was the people who were mad about the series not being an anthology anymore and just bringing back a main character whose story was supposed to be finished. I was part of that group. And then there is the other group who was also mad about how they handled her love story from the first game, how they ended up ending it for to make other romantic options available. So I feel like Square Enix would really do that again, but we saw with that game that it just didn't really work. Like, it's just no one was really satisfied.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like if they bring back 2B and 9S, there is like a low chance that it satisfies everyone. A very low chance.
Yeah, like 2B and 9S, for as much I do love them, they don't need another game at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you can definitely hint at what happened to them and stuff, But if we get the next game and it is just like, oh, 2B and 9S are back and they're going on another adventure, it's like, oh, that's a bit weird. Like, I'll probably still be excited because I feel like if they made it, Yokotaro probably had an idea for it. But I also don't know, like, how much freedom does he have within Square Enix? I would guess a lot, because he got to make so many games already, even though they weren't that successful before Automata, but...
Yeah, I don't know if you heard, but when the company was rebooted, like when the reboot started, I remember news about one of his game being cancelled.
Oh, actually, wasn't that recently?
You know what? Let me look it up.
Yes, let's fact check this.
I'll wait. Reddit, gaming leaks and rumors. That's where I get all my.
That's where leaks. You get your news from r/gaming leaks.
Indeed. Wait. Okay. Maybe order new.
That was cancelled.
Well, I would guess if it was cancelled, it would be a new IP. That's what I would make. Oh, well, there was also the news of the NieR Tencent game that was cancelled as well. That's something else, I think.
But I think the NieR Tencent thing, wasn't that supposed to be another NieR mobile game?
Yeah, probably.
I'm assuming that got cancelled because, I'm guessing that got cancelled because I don't think Reincarnation did that well. So I guess they were like, oh, we shouldn't, like, make more
I think the news reporting this were saying it was because they didn't find the correct payment, not payment method. Oh, I'm losing my words. I'm literally studying this. You know, like the monetization system. Sorry.
Yes, exactly.
Apparently they didn't find one that really worked, so they decided to cancel the game, which is really understandable.
Yeah, definitely.
So I do not find the info. I might have spread misinformation.
You might have just made up a Yokotaro new IP that got cancelled.
Yeah, wait, maybe if I search Square Enix... Oh! No, that was 13 days ago.
Yeah, there was something very recent about Square Enix's like new.
Square Enix canceled multiple major projects as part of their 3-year reboot. But there's no mention of Yokotaro here. Yeah, look, I don't know anymore.
No, it's fine.
And I don't even remember why we were searching that.
Why were we searching this? What? I think we were just talking about NieR Automata sequel. We were talking about that, and then how much freedom Yokotaro has within Square Enix.
Oh right, that's it. That's
how we got here.
Yeah, my point was, I think he's still not that like. I feel like even Tetsuya Nomura does not have creative freedom as much as we think. So
no, I also don't think. Yeah. He got a lot of his stuff cancelled already, Nomura. So.
Yeah, of course.
He definitely doesn't have like a free card to make whatever he wants.
Yeah. So I'm guessing it's the same for most of them.
Yeah.
So I feel like if Yokotaro was like thinking, oh, now I want to make another social game and this time it's full on hentai or something, they would be like, yeah, no, hold on.
No, we will cancel this.
Yeah. So yeah. NieR Automata 2, who knows? Maybe. I feel like they could even make a mix of both, like bring back 2B and 9S if they wanted, and just like add all new Accord lore. Because I feel like this is also fan service that they think about, like they know fans want Accord as well.
Yeah,
so I feel like
the anime definitely proved that. Like,
yeah.
Everyone was screaming and she showed up for like 2 seconds or something.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like if they wanted to go full on fan service for a guaranteed success, they would just do both. So NieR Automata 2 with a 10H coming back and Accord and Emil as well. Oh yeah.
It's gonna be the Avengers of NieR games. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, yeah, one does not exclude the other. It's definitely true that
Indeed,
they
yeah.
could make something to follow up on like the Accord plot threads while also just having Automata characters. Do you think that the recent anniversary artwork of A2 is anything? Because I also saw a lot of people saying that she's like wandering the earth and
Yeah.
that she's like the only character that we don't really know what happens to her after the story.
Yeah, to me it really feels like a heavy hint, to be honest. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like
If
I'm
we get a
hoping in the sense that I don't want that to be the next NieR game, but I mean, no, actually, I really do love A2, so I would rather have an A2 game over a 2B9S game.
Yeah, that's what I
I
was
think
gonna
that's,
say.
yeah,
I
yeah,
feel like A2, if we're gonna make an Automata sequel, I would prefer it with A2 and have her go on this fucking weird game with Accord and Emil.
yeah, yeah. Actually, yeah, I would love that.
Yeah.
It's just, in my opinion, it's more 2B9S that I don't want to have another story for, because I feel like we went so deep into their stories, like I feel like if they do more, it's gonna be really forced.
Yeah,
But A2
exactly.
though, I feel like there is potential for A2. I don't know.
I feel like that's a good, like, kind of hitting that sweet spot of having the sequel while also
Mm-hmm.
not having it blatantly obvious that you're just milking Automata.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, totally.
So I feel like that is actually a very likely bet that we could have an Automata 2 with A2 and whatever
Yeah,
is going on there.
I guess we'll maybe, hopefully see in the summer game fest.
Yes, exactly. Do you think it's gonna be here?
Uh,
I'm like gonna do
you
my best
know,
to have this out before Summer Games Fest, because Summer Games Fest is in 2 weeks, I think, like a week and a half.
yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, do I expect it there? I really hope so, but you know,
Yeah,
uh,
gotta
I
temper
really
expectations a bit.
exactly. I never know what to expect for Summer Games Fest. Like it's so, I never know if I need high expectations or not. It's just
Yeah,
really weird. I don't know.
everything ever since E3 died, everything is so
Yeah,
all over the place. Like even with like Nintendo Directs or PlayStation like State of Play showcases, you
yeah,
either have
totally.
like the best show in years or there's like a 40-minute showcase that just wastes your time. So
Yeah. So yeah, I really don't know what to expect. I really hope so. And no, I think Yosuke Saito did say that we would get something this year, right? So I don't know if he was talking about like all the anniversary stuff that already happened or
yeah, that's another thing. They've been hinting for a while now.
yeah. So maybe
Um
Summer's Game Fest. Who knows?
that's it, like I think I wrote down as well that they said something about like early 2024 that Yoko Taro
Yeah,
said, or I don't know if Yoko Taro said it or if Saito said it, but they did say like, oh, there's a
I think it was Saito.
surprise for NieR fans in
Yeah.
early 2024, and then unless they were talking about fucking Reincarnation shutting down,
Yeah. I was about to say that was just a surprise. That's it.
that's such a fun surprise, guys. We're
No,
shutting down
I
the game.
do believe it would be really fucked if it was Reincarnation shutting down. So I really think it's just
I think
well, they planned on announcing the next game, but the reboot of Square Enix
yeah, I also think
fucked
so.
everything up.
I think exactly the
Yeah.
same. I think that it just got either delayed because game delays happen and like
Hmm.
maybe some stuff is still like getting shuffled around because of the pandemic and stuff. Like I have no idea. Maybe it's something to do with the Switch too. Like who knows? A lot of people are thinking that a lot of Japanese titles are
Yeah.
like delayed because Nintendo is obviously the biggest in Japan, so they want to have those consoles. But
Yeah, actually, good point. Yeah.
like there can be a lot in play there, and they just said it in like an interview offhandedly, like, oh, there is a surprise for NieR fans in 2024, so it's very possible that it did just get delayed.
Yeah.
But then there's also a lot of other stuff with they said something recently that's like Yoko Taro and Saito are working on a game that may or may not be NieR, and then like a few months later they said like, oh, Yoko Taro will keep making NieR games until he dies or something. So it's
yeah, that's true. Yeah, I remember that sentence might or might not be NieR. To me, it was definitely not NieR, because I don't know. That's how I felt. But again, he's so unpredictable. Like every time I feel something about the series, like it could be something really different. So yeah,
Yoko Taro is very unpredictable.
he really is.
There's also a lot of stuff going around of like Yoko Taro that he like doesn't really enjoy doing interviews, so he will just kind of say stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
So like, what can we trust what this man is saying?
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I hope we get something soon though. Like, NieR Reincarnation shut down last year. The anime is over. Like, NieR doesn't really have anything lined up in the foreseeable future. We just had the anniversary this year. Like,
I mean, yeah, in my opinion, it's really fine when a series takes a break without releasing any games. Like, I do think it's fine because it gives players the occasion of trying other things
that's
as well.
true as
So
well.
it's really interesting. But however, in this specific context, with Square Enix rebooting, Kingdom Hearts 4, fuck knows what's happening with
missing
that.
for years. Missing Link is gone, deleted.
Exactly. 7 FF7 Part 3 definitely development, but way too early for this. I feel like the only thing, also Dragon Quest, not coming either right now, obviously. But I feel like the only thing they could pull off, like if they want a major title this year, I feel like the only thing they could pull off with a low budget would definitely be another NieR. So I feel like it's the only...
The budgets for NieR games are not very high, so that's...
Yeah, no, it's only AA as far as I remember. Because, Automata was not a AAA game.
Yeah.
Replicant definitely not either. And Reincarnation is different because it's a mobile game, so the scale was lower. So, yeah. And I do remember also an interview where they were saying that they wanted the series to stay low budget. Like they did not want
that's good. That's very good.
AAA NieR game, and I definitely agree with that because it does not need crazy
not.
budget or time.
I really like that NieR is very experimental, and they can kind of get away with that because it's lower budget.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, I really feel like it's kind of the only thing I see them pulling off for this year. So I really hope we're getting something this summer, at least an announcement. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if I would bet on a release this year, but I feel like we will know about... Like, by the end of this year, I feel like we will know about what's next for NieR. Like, we'll have an announcement at that point, if it's like a fucking Reincarnation comeback or if it's NieR 4.
Like, it could totally be just Reincarnation coming back as well. I think it would just be enough of a major thing.
Yeah.
Because it is NieR 3, whether people like it or not. So, I mean, it would count as a major release for...
Yeah. And if it gets support, that would also convince a lot of people, or like... A lot of people would be fine with it being NieR 3 then, because right now a lot of people are just pissed off because... One, it was a mobile gacha game, and two, it's just literally not available anywhere anymore. So if they would bring it back as a real game, real game, so to say, people don't really have anything to complain about anymore. So, and they could also provide like a buffer for whatever they're working on next, so they have some more time to cook that one up.
Yeah, honestly, I really hope that's the case. But you know, only a few days, and then we'll know. If it's happening now or not. Yeah. It'll
be exciting to probably be disappointed. But it's fun anyway. Then as a last thing I did write down kind of as a bonus thing, I guess. Do you think Drakengard could ever do anything again? As in like a port or a remaster, or because the main thing that I always think about with Drakengard is that I have a friend that keeps saying that he wants Drakengard 4, and that's never happening, in my opinion, because NieR is so much bigger in name, so like they'll definitely just call it NieR. But with Accord being such an important character in Drakengard 3, and Accord most likely playing a big role in the future of the franchise, I really wonder if they'll like do something with Drakengard 3 as it like a remaster or version 1 point whatever.
Yeah, actually I was thinking about that earlier when I was taking my notes. Look, thing is, like, my initial answer to your question, is Drakengard coming back, was fuck no. But the more I thought about it, because I'm playing Drakengard right now, I just got ending D, so I think I went through most of the game. I just need to grind weapons and then do the final boss. The way I'm playing this game, it just makes me yearn for a remake of it, like a full remake, a full story revamp as well. Not because of all the problematic stuff. I mean more like, I feel like it's really outdated. And so, yeah, my point is, I think if that were to happen, I don't think it's gonna happen, but if that were to happen, they would definitely bring Accord to that game as well, and make her like a prominent face of that game as well. And then I was thinking about Drakengard 2, no way it's coming back, to be honest. But 3, then I started thinking about 3, and I thought the same. Like, honestly, with the crossovers it got with SINOALICE and Reincarnation, and just Accord being so important, it's definitely like possible. Who knows?
Yeah.
I just wonder, like, what, like, concretely, like, what is the demand for this? Like, how many people want this?
That's the thing. Like,
because I feel like basic NieR fans, no offense, would just not care about Drakengard.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. If anything Drakengard happens, there's gonna be like 5 people that care about it, and that's just like everyone that's super hard into the series.
So that's the thing. Realistically, I really don't think it's gonna happen, but it would be really interesting if they do.
Yeah, for me
bring back the old games.
Yeah. For me personally, I'm always like, Drakengard 1, I don't think they have to do anything with it, because I feel like there's like some interesting story stuff in there, but it is like such a weird game, and it's like, if you're gonna have to remake that, it's gonna have to be an entire like reimagining almost.
Yeah, totally. Like almost even bigger than Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, it's like gonna be barely recognizable, and at that point I'm I don't really want that. And it's like, Drakengard 1, it's not really a fun game to play, and it's a weird little thing, but I kind of like that about it. Like, I played it like 2 years ago now, I think, and at the time I was like, oh, this game is like, it kind of sucks, but like, it's interesting, and I really like it as like a weird experience. But as time goes on,
the exact same.
As time goes on though, I'm really appreciating it more for what it is, and like, I don't really want it to be remade. I like that Drakengard is this really weird game that's just on the PlayStation 2, and like the controls are janky in the entire game, and like the vibe feels so off, and like that's not a game that can be made today, and I kind of just like it as that little piece of history that's like off to the side. So Drakengard 1, I don't expect anything. Like, I definitely don't expect anything, but I also don't really want anything from it. Drakengard 3, ideally, the one thing that bothered me the most about it when I played it is that it doesn't, like, it feels like it's missing like the route that exactly connects everything.
Because I also thought about that, because, go on.
It's similar to, I mean, I might be wrong, but because I never played the original PS3 NieR, but I think that it's similar in the way that you have NieR, the game on PS3, and it's like very, like, it's connected to the other games, but it's more standalone. It just like tells its story, and that's it. And then the side stories and the novellas, they did more of the heavy lifting of connecting it to the rest. And then they did version 1 point. What are you saying?
Yeah, it's kind of different, yeah. Because I'm guessing you were about to say that the novella was following ending D of NieR, and then following that would be NieR Automata, and then they brought back NieR Replicant
Yeah,
with
they
the
kind of like
novella as
took
the ending, right?
they like added the side story. I mean, they added like the newer chapters from the novella to like
Yeah,
that
yeah,
heavily connected, and they brought that back in the remaster to connect the
yeah. The thing
games.
is, this one, like, it's really not the same with Drakengard 3, because NieR and Automata always have been linked. It's just that there was a missing piece in between, right? Which
Yes,
was
yes,
the infamous ending E.
yeah,
For Drakengard 3 and Drakengard 1, it's really different because basically none of the branches of the game, Drakengard 3, leads to Drakengard 1.
yeah,
So there is like a fifth branch, which is the novella, story side, I think, that leads to Drakengard 1. And the ending A of Drakengard 3 leads to a novella adaptation of Drakengard 1, which was 1.3, I think. Well, yeah, it's a very messy
yeah,
situation.
yeah.
So basically, if they were to remaster Drakengard 3 and give it the route or
Yeah, the
branch
like the
that
novella
leads to
route.
Drakengard 1, it would be weird because
Uh,
from what I understood, I didn't read it fully, I just only read a recap, but from what I understood, basically it's like more or less the four previous branches, like the main events of the four previous branches into one.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like it takes
So
elements
it's
from those branches to create like
yeah,
the sort of like canon route, kind of, I
yeah.
guess, so to say. So
I kind of feel like this would be really weird to
true,
play
that is
after
true.
the final song.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. If you put it after the final song, yeah, that's true. That's a fair point.
So and knowing them, knowing the probably low demand, like if that case question was brought to the table, they would just be like, okay, fuck it, let's not do that.
Yeah, that is
I don't
true.
know.
That's true. I didn't think about it like that.
However, doesn't wouldn't keep them from just remastering the game without new content. Maybe,
Yeah,
who knows?
true. I feel like Drakengard 3 is also. I mean, it's hard to market because it is Drakengard, but visually, I think you can market it easier and like relate it to NieR because it has a
Yeah,
lot
yeah,
of
yeah, that's
those
true.
elements and stuff, and especially if you're gonna have a chord show up again, like if you put
Yeah,
her
yeah,
front on the marketing, like it's gonna be it is gonna be a harder sell than Reincarnation or than just the next NieR game, but I feel like they can do something like that, but it is just like is Square Enix gonna be willing to do that? Probably not.
yeah.
So
Probably not, to be honest. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
that's a shame, but you know, again, it is what it is.
It is what it is. That's the
Yeah.
that's the state of the NieR fan base right now. It is what it
So
is until we see something.
yeah, that's true. We'll just wait. I'm just
Exactly.
curious. What do you think about the Drakengard 4?
Dragon Quest
Whoops.
4.
Yeah, let's imagine Yoko Taro
God.
goes on a crazy pitch to Square Enix,
And
says
they
like, okay,
somehow
if you let
accept
me
it.
cook, I can pull off the best Drakengard comeback.
He's like, I'm gonna
What
make you the
what
most
what would you
successful
think?
game ever, and it's Drakengard 4. Oh god. I mean, that is just that is just the Kingdom of the Night game that I'm thinking of then. Like,
Yeah,
ah,
honestly,
have a
same,
very
same.
heavily focused on a chord, have a with the Kingdom of the Night, like, yeah, I guess you have like, you need to put like dragons in there somewhere, and have like
Yeah,
dragon
and they were
gameplay.
also, if I remember correctly, again, NieR lore is so expensive. I might just be wrong, but if I remember correctly, they were created at the same time as Accord and same place. So
Yeah, I did hear some people say that, but that's like
yeah,
one
so
part of the
honestly,
lore that I'm a bit lost on.
I mean, yeah, NieR Reincarnation did sort of give an origin story, but it just ends abruptly. Like you don't know how they actually developed the dragon weapon. So yeah, that's again another mystery that could be definitely answered in the next game. So honestly, if they make a Drakengard game about like the origins of dragons, would be
Oh,
nice,
that
I
would
think.
that
And
would
then
be
it would
really
also
cool.
involve, yeah, it would also involve Accord, and Also, I think I said one time on Twitter as well, if they make a NieR game in the Kingdom of Night, visually, and that's also very, very important. Like, NieR is very distinct for its art style and color palette that is very black and white gray.
Yeah.
Very light gray, sorry. I feel like making a game at night, set at night, would definitely not fit NieR visually. And so it would be too much of a contrast in between this game and the next games. Yeah, because like it's kind of different. Because people say that about the gameplay as well. So that NieR Reincarnation is not NieR 3 because it's turn-based and stuff. Yeah. But NieR is actually just like very experimental when it comes to game design. Definitely not visually though. Visually, it had its own identity and it kept it.
Yes, but I do think that they can make it work somehow with like having a game with the Kingdom of the Night. I feel like we've never like seen it, have we?
Like what do you mean, the Kingdom of Night? Like,
yeah, like we've heard of
in a cutscene or something.
We've never like seen it visually, so wouldn't they be able to like play around with it to make it coherent with the rest of the series?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I do think there was like a drawing of it in NieR Reincarnation, but that's not enough to answer the question. So, yeah.
I'm gonna draw you maybe like partly answered already, but if they would do a Drakengard 4, what would you imagine it being like? Also just like Kingdom of the Night game, or do you have like
honestly, thing is like the only thing that keeps me from thinking that is that I'm trying to think about like the patterns in the games, right?
Yeah.
So what would make sense to have in a Drakengard game? Like what is in common between the 3 games and what is in common between the 3 NieR games, right? So I feel like if they make sorry, I speak as if I was part of the NieR development team. No, if they were to make a game set in the Kingdom of Night that involves a court and dragons specifically, I feel would make it lean more towards Drakengard.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not set in Midgard, right? It's gonna be set in the NieR universe.
Yeah.
So they could also just like make a NieR game with dragons.
True.
Well.
True.
There is also, well, obviously the fact that NieR is more popular, so there definitely will be more leaning towards the NieR title for the IP, like for the brand. So honestly, like, yeah, if they make a game in the Kingdom of Night, to me they could make it make sense if it was Drakengard, but they would also make it make sense if it was NieR.
Yeah, exactly.
At this point, it's just, yeah.
I feel like if like when you asked me like what is like the crazy idea of if there was a Drakengard 4 in the end, my idea would be very similar to just what I want from the next NieR game, because it is so closely related. Like it is just a different name. So
yeah. I feel like at this point it's just like we're kind of reaching, like not yet, but I feel like we're kind of reaching a point where the 2 series are fusing.
Yeah, and if we get a court in a big role in the next game, that's only gonna go even further. Like,
yeah, totally, yeah.
Okay, I think that might be everything then.
Well, yeah, nice.
Unless you have something else you want to mention.
Let me look at my notes if I missed something. Oh, actually.
Oh.
I think there is something I wanted to. Maybe I mentioned it. I'm not sure. No, I really think I didn't. I know I mentioned when we were talking about the NieR Reincarnation port, right?
Yes.
I did. I think I said. I mentioned something about like them having to change the story. Did I? Or did I not?
You mentioned something about if they would bring back Reincarnation, that they could have some like extra story. Oh, you also did mention that it's kind of vital to the story, or like vital, that it works very well in the narrative that NieR Reincarnation like ends, and that it was written as a piece of media
so I did
that's
not
supposed
talk
to
about.
end. I don't know if that's what you mean.
So yeah, I did not talk about like the thing I was that were in my notes. Basically, do you think that NieR Reincarnation as a story and as a like story and gameplay wise would work as an offline game on console?
That's hard.
Yeah.
I think yes. It would have to get some changes, obviously, but I think the core of it does work. As in, you would just have a game where you travel through the cage, and you have like the dialogue happening. I guess like maybe make it a bit more cinematic because it's not a mobile game anymore. Like, but you just traverse through the cage, and the cage is very linear, and then you enter the world, and that's where you have like. You just play as the characters from the story. Like, obviously a big part of Reincarnation is that you have the gacha elements, and you have your own party, and you have your own characters and stuff. Like, that is all obviously gonna go away. But how I imagine it would just be like, yeah, you go through the cage, you have the dialogue between, like, the characters in the cage with Mama and stuff. You access each, like, what are they called? Like the memories, kind of.
Scarecrows.
Yeah, you like access through you go through those things, and then you just have like chapter 1, whatever the fuck, and then you just play through that story. I guess it would be changed because I don't think it would work in the 2D side scroller way that.
I really hope not, though. I really hope
exactly.
Not,
but that's like, how much work are they gonna be willing to put into it? Is also a thing.
Yeah, no. I really think they keep. I really hope they keep if they actually make the game. I really hope they keep the picture book aspect, like the visuals, like this. It's so good. It's so good in my opinion. Like, it makes the game so original. I really hope they keep that.
It could work, I guess. The thing is, like, if they're gonna do that, they will have to like make it a cheaper title, because I don't think the general public is gonna be happy if there's like, oh, new NieR game, $60, and it's like a side-scrolling storybook. But I think it could work then if you keep it like that, and if you just have like, oh, the combat, I guess, like, it will be turn-based. I'm gonna be honest, I did not get that into the combat of Reincarnation. I usually just put it on auto battle, so I cannot tell you how the combat worked. But
I always say the combat is I don't think it's bad, but I think it was like way too easy so it kind of felt like wasted potential, because when I played the main story, it was like really boring because of how automatic it was, right? But then I got into like the hard content, and then I was kind of forced to
actually
build
learn
a team with learn the combat, learn the mechanics of each characters, try to like actually make strategies and stuff. So
I mean, the combat they can definitely flesh out in that way then, and that would actually be really cool if they do just release NieR Reincarnation in the way that it was. Then you have like this turn-based NieR game that's like divided into all the different chapters where you play as the different people from the cage. That would be very interesting. I don't know how you would like imagine.
That's the thing, because I kind of disagree with you.
Interesting.
Because thing is, the game was really like made from the ground up for mobile phone. Not only obviously the format, right?
Yeah.
But also story-wise, like, this is literally a story about how, like, they mentioned smartphones in the story.
Oh, true.
How the smartphones are connected to the servers, right?
Oh,
like, everything.
Yeah, true. Fuck, I kind of forgot about that entire aspect.
Yeah,
true,
everything in the game revolves around smartphones, and I really think if they were to bring it back, that's why I was mentioning a very alternate version. I really think they would have to even rework the story, make it an alternate branch or something. Like, I don't know. It's even the format of the game. Like, of course, they would probably remove the gacha elements.
Yeah.
And even then, actually, I don't know if you played Xenoblade 2.
Yes, I did. That was also thinking about that, as I mentioned, the gacha system.
Yeah, I think the gacha system over there is pretty okay. So they could definitely pull off an offline gacha, in my opinion. But just like, I don't know, the traversal, the combat, and the story. It's just, since I study game design, I kind of realized that, like, when I think about the game, I really see like that they really made the game for mobiles, like from the ground up, and it's almost like it's so visible that it's almost impossible, maybe just to me, I don't know, it's really impossible to remove the smartphone aspect from the game. Like, it's really weird how I see it.
You make a good point. I guess it is because you are like studying that. Like, now that you're mentioning it, it's like, yeah, that is very much a really big element of it. When I think about NieR Reincarnation, I do just think more of like, oh, the story is like, you're in the cage and you go through the memories and stuff. Like, yeah, that can work, but it is true that the mobile aspect is like very deeply ingrained in its design. So I guess I would have to go some more changes if they wanted to port it.
Like, in my head, it almost makes more sense if they bring it back as an anime than a game. It's kind of weird.
And then just like,
I don't know. I mean, I'm saying anime, but just, I don't know. It's actually, just to me, the one that makes the more sense is the book, for sure. Yeah, because the book even appears at the end of the story. Like, it's just like, oh, the game is shutting down, but everything is still in the book, and then the book releases, and that's it. So
yeah, that also works perfectly, the narrative, because it is like the book in which everything is recorded, and then they release them. Yeah, true. I mean, an anime could also work because it is very episodic. Like, obviously you have the girl and the monster and the sun and the moon. Yeah,
they make 3 seasons.
Yeah, exactly. And all the character stories are also very episodic, but that could also be a way to do it. I don't know. There's like a lot that they can technically do with Reincarnation. I just hope that they do something. Like, at the very least, translate that book.
Yeah.
But
just waiting for that, but you know.
Yeah. It's just so sad to think about that there is like this. In one way, I do really like it, that there is like this one experience that you just kind of like had to be there, because there's like nothing like it.
Yeah.
Because as time goes on, I do appreciate Reincarnation a lot more, just for like, because it is kind of bold to just be this story, like, oh, you had to be there at the time. The way that the deletion of the game works its way into the narrative. Like, even the thing that you just said with like the smartphone stuff works into it. The whole part of, oh, the cage is shutting down, but we still have the book that has recorded everything, and then they're releasing the book. Like, all of that is like so beautiful in a way, but it also really sucks that there's this incredible story out there that you just can't play anymore. You can't access it.
Like, nothing is just black or white. That's why I hate the debates on this on Twitter. It's just it's just so beautiful as it is, but at the same time, we need to preserve games. Like, it's just...
Exactly. Like, I mean, on Twitter, discussions are always stupid because people do see things very black and white, and then you only have like a few characters to explain your point. So
exactly, yeah.
But that's why I invited you for this discussion. So
so much. It feels so refreshing to actually talk about this out loud, because I mean, I do talk about NieR sometimes at university, but it's never with people that are that invested in it, you know.
It's so it is very like NieR has so many stages of being a NieR fan that it's really hard to find someone to like just talk about the lore and like what your ideas are for the next game and stuff. So but this was a fun discussion.
It really was. Thank you.
Thank you for coming on, but I think then we're gonna end it here. So
Okay. Well, thank
If you
you.
want to plug some stuff, you can do that. I know that you're streaming
Oh,
Drakengard
right. Okay.
still.
Okay. I was like, sorry. Yeah.
Don't worry
Well.
about it.
Currently, yeah. I recently started streaming on Twitch. But it's yeah, it's very unprofessional for now. I'm just doing it for fun. But like, if you wanna see me struggle playing Drakengard, well, my Twitch is the same as my Twitter ad. So yeah,
It's all in the
feel free to
description,
come.
so.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, feel free to come. I love having people in the chat. It's really fun, especially with that game. I really need mental support. Otherwise, yeah, I plan on starting YouTube soon. Probably NieR content mainly. So I mean, I don't have content yet, but if you feel like following as well, feel free to do so. You can follow me on Twitter as well, and I wish I could share info about game development stuff, but no, I don't have anything yet. So yeah, everything is still in the cooking.
Yes. We need to let you cook.
So yeah, if you want to see more of my NieR opinions, I guess Twitter is the way to go. But you can also follow me on YouTube and Twitch if you want to see me play Drakengard.
Definitely follow Teol on Twitter. He has this, I think it's pinned to your profile, that you have this threads that like recaps NieR Reincarnation.
Right,
And
yeah.
I really
yeah,
like
I do
that
have a
thread.
thread.
That's a very good like the basic story beats of NieR Reincarnation, how it connects to everything. Like
Yeah, the way I wrote it was just since everyone kind of gave up on NieR Reincarnation at the beginning when they saw there was no link to the previous games. I felt like you kind of had to prove them that the game is really important. You kind of have to start with the plot twist,
yeah,
which
definitely.
is as usual. Like in NieR, it's just like the plot twist is just something that happened before the game, right? So yeah, in that thread I'm retelling the whole story, starting. So yeah, in chronological order and starting with the plot twist, so that you see how important it is in the canon. And I also plan, hopefully soon, but you know, exams and stuff, I also plan on making this a YouTube video.
Oh,
So stay tuned.
exciting.
Yeah. Yeah,
All right.
hopefully soon.
That's it for this video then. Thank you everyone for watching.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for watching.
Glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.
Okay, so for some reason, somehow, I forgot to record a proper outro for this, so I'm doing this bit afterwards. Thanks again to Teol for joining me in this discussion. Thank you for watching the video. Again, make sure to leave a comment and join the discussion. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like or check out my channel. And with that, I'm gonna end the video here. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and hopefully, I'll see you all again soon.